And I'm live. I'm actually live. Hey, everybody. Can you see my hands? There we go. So this is my very first time ever trying to publicly live stream from the city room, and I'm just going to be doing some work like I do and like I would like to do more of in the future. Just streaming it this time. I've actually this is kind of like the end game. We're in the end game now. This is what I wanted to get to. This is the ultimate goal. The highest level of goal for me for streaming with my Lego stuff, being able to bring you into the city room and yeah, be here and actually be doing stuff and streaming it. So I've got the camera set up over there. I've got the microphone set up. It's just a single microphone, so my audio levels will be changing. If I'm closer to the microphone, it sounds more like this. If I'm farther away from the microphone, it sounds like this. It's not going to be perfect, but it's okay. Hey Vince, good to see you here. Right on. Yeah, this is the ultimate for me. For people watching after the fact, well, this is probably not going to be that exciting. I mean, it's in real time and all. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be okay. First step, baby step. This is more than a baby step, though. I got so much equipment set up, and it's fairly comfortable actually to set up. So I'm feeling pretty happy about that. Like I said, this is what I've wanted to be able to do. And I'm not able to see chat like right here, but I'm able to turn my head just a little bit. Mustafarian, welcome. Thank you there. Just for the first few minutes of it, just to kind of get it rolling, I set this to be visible to folks on Patreon only, but I will turn it public for this channel, just as a test to see how it works out. And I'll be able to just turn around and look at the chat from time to time and talk to you guys in real time. Hey, Brandon. What's going on? If this works well, what I may consider doing is getting a different microphone rig, something that's real lightweight and portable. I think I probably even have the parts to make it happen, to where this will be a little bit more consistent. Because I know that, like, if I move 3 feet away and then I'm talking over here, it gets kind of quiet and backgroundy. But I think for most of the stuff, at least for now, this will work. Yeah, I'm just filling this area in because I had done. Yeah, look at this. I'm on a tripod. I can actually move the camera. I had done the stuff in the freight yard some time ago. It was mostly 2 major work sessions over the course of a week or so. So that looks kind of the way that I want it to, as does this line over here, coming through here. But then when it gets down here, now it just kind of breaks apart and it's inconsistent. What I personally am the most tired of is over here where I have the light gray. The light gray underneath there, and then it goes directly to the brown up there. That's not cool. I'm not happy with that at all. So I'm going to be just working on, I'm probably just going to do this for about an hour or so. Maybe hour and a half, I don't know. Depends on how it goes. But I'm also going to be working in this area, and from time to time I might not be, things might not quite be where they should be relative to you guys, but I'll just look back from time to time and hopefully figure out the right setup. Pop out chat. Move this over here. There we go. Playing some video games. Very cool. Have me on my other monitor, right on. PC gamer. Hello, Philippe. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the confirmation. Dad Bod, good to see you. I see it happening. Join the new channel. Thank you. I am too. It seems like everybody is. Like, it's the best thing that has happened to me with my YouTubing, with my Legoing, just generally in a long, long time. And I'm not seeing any downsides at all. Like, even on days when, I'm having a rough day or something, I still can come in here and look at the stuff, and it doesn't feel like there's any source of stress here anymore. There's no downside. There's no negative. to being in here, to working in here, or to putting up stuff on this channel. I don't have to worry about anything. Let me see. I think we can keep it just like this just now. You're envious of that Amtrak train. Exactly. Some good memories. That's good. Good memories are good. You know, this is Lego we're dealing with. If anybody has anything like that where you just have strong positive feelings for something from your childhood or whenever or whatever, sometimes it's worth it to just find instructions or something, get the parts, or get the set if it's reasonable, and just splurge on yourself if you can. Just every once in a while. I know it can be rough to budget, and it's a slippery slope once you start buying stuff. But every once in a while, it's good to just do something that's generally going to make you feel good. So important. Oh, for today, my main little part that I want to work on is just going up right up to there. This is the main section. I might have to zoom out a little bit. Right now, I'm just putting down 2x4 tiles. It's always the first thing that I do because, you know, they're nice size, but they're not too big. The way that I do my ballast and my tracks in general is lower than most people. Most people will actually be able to just put down tiles in general and then have a 2 or even 3 stack of plates underneath the tracks themselves, attached to the undersides of the tracks and the sleepers. And then all the ballast is basically just floating and it just gets tied down in some spots. I personally decided very early on not to go with the super high raised bedding for my tracks, just a personal choice. So that makes life a lot harder for doing this stuff because it really has to be embedded, and especially when you're not dealing with straights, and I don't have a whole lot of straights in the city. Every single thing has to be done one at a time, just like I'm doing right now. So it feels inefficient because it kind of is, but I must do what must be done because it is the only way. After this, I come back usually with some 1x2s. I'm running a little bit low on these 1x2s, but hopefully I'll be able to get through just this one little section here. And then once I've tiled off as much as I reasonably can, because I don't like to have a lot of tiles showing externally. Once I've tiled off a bunch of stuff, then I come back and start doing the studded stuff. Using, again, the biggest parts reasonably possible to fit into the spaces. And then start changing out the colors a little bit. I mostly am just going with the dark bluish gray. And I'm going to switch back and forth between light gray and black for just little bits of variance. And occasionally I'll do a little dark tan, a little dark red or something. Coast Starlight, LA to Seattle. I trained a few times. Nice. This is I believe that this, talking about these color schemes, I believe that this was called a phase 3 color scheme, and they had so many and so many variations that sometimes I get that wrong, even though I shouldn't. There's only one color scheme, official Amtrak color scheme that I personally like a lot, and it's this one. So I should remember which one it is, but I'm pretty sure it's phase 3. And they actually still have some heritage lines that are running that color scheme. So the other one was a Genesis, which is the one that came after this. This was the FP40H, is it? And I used to watch both of those going by my house. Not right by my house, but close enough. I'm gonna start cheating more and more. I have to say, after I did that that knot locomotive to be able to run the crocodile locomotive around, I can grab it. It's right here. After doing this, I realized that I'm going to be cheating a lot more in the future of doing this. Of just putting I'll probably make like a few more, or at least 2 more cargo cars like this. Not necessarily box cars. Since I'm using 9 volt, I can get away with doing whatever I want. But, powered freight cars so that I can reduce my reliance on 9 volt in every single locomotive. And I can start to preserve those because, once the motors go out, then you have to replace them. And I don't think they still make ones that fit perfectly. So you have to adapt them a little bit. And it's just work that I don't want to do. So the longer I can make these last, the ones that I do have, I have plenty, the better. And I might even do this for, I might not need to do it for my passenger stuff. I'm waiting on parts for my passenger stuff right now. Yeah, that is the one, isn't it? Livery. This is such a slow process, but gosh, if it isn't worth it when it's done. It looks so much better when it's done. So much better than having this. Even, if I can even just get this little strip right here taken care of today, I'll be so happy because it's mostly that overlap and this strip coming, again, like I said, from that brown to the light gray, and then it actually goes back to dark gray farther that way. So it's not so bad anymore. If I just get through here, yeah, it'll help a lot. And then eventually go the rest of the way up. I have not yet decided what to do for my passenger yard because that's like a company, it's a specific company, and passenger yards tend to be cleaner. Might not even use granite-based bedding. It might be concrete-based. And I don't think I would mind having a different color used there. The inconsistency, I think, I would not mind. Chalk it up to some of the good things you can get from variation. Do I want to fit this? Yeah, I guess I can fit it right there. Yes. That'll work. Brandon, what are you gaming? I want to know. I'm curious. I'm back on a Destiny kick myself. So every term I start, every term, every word, every concept, I want to connect with something from the Destiny universe. So when I said curious, it makes me think of the Cryptarch Guardian. I must admit, I'm very curious what you brought for me to crack open. Use the computer program to figure out layouts for my city. Yes, sir, Vince. That program is called Blue Brick. I think there are multiple results now. If you search for Blue Brick, there's something else called Blue Brick. But it won't take too much searching. If you search for Blue Brick and then like Lego Train or something like that, you'll find it. It was freeware or donateware, mostly free. I actually did send the guy some money a couple times because he just did such a great work, great thing. Helped me out a lot, that's for sure. It's just one guy that did it. Blue Brick. It's for the PC. I don't know if they have it for the Mac, but I guess you can. Whatever they do these days used to be dual booting, but Blue Brick is the one. And it's just simple. It's so much simpler than using the more CAD-based things. It's just 2D, multiple layers. Things snap together. They don't have to snap together. Like you can do stuff that's that has gaps or overlaps. But yeah, it's good for overall top level layout planning for tracks and base plates. That's what it's best for. More specific stuff, I don't know. Star Citizen, okay. Not played anything like that in a while. Noise. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking top-down perspective. Oh, I'm looking in real time. Just down over here. Just looking at where I can find some overlaps that I can now start to fill in with the 1x2s. I want to make this as easy for myself as possible. Let me reconnect these. I separated this just to make it easier to get stuff under there. I'm going to reconnect this to see where it wants to sit. Since I have so many turns and everything, my tracks cannot be perfect. They cannot be perfectly aligned. So you kind of have to, when that occurs, you kind of have to do like this, move stuff around and see where it wants to sit, where everything wants to be, where it's most comfortable, where I don't have a lot of stress in the joints, where I'm not creating gaps like this right here. Just let it be where it wants to be. Probably just start around here. And for this part of the process, I'll probably not even disconnect it, because as soon as you start disconnecting it, things start to relax in different ways. And if you do too much work, then come back to it, like connect things back, then you might realize, oh, I should not have done that. It's all off. It's all offset. I need a bunch of 1x1s too. 1x1s also. That's just a single line in there. Gaps also, for future reference. Gaps, holes can be left underneath some of these parts. I just need to fill in enough areas to where you won't see through any holes. Because that gets just unsightly. As long as from a couple feet away, you don't readily notice anything being wrong, and it's good enough for government work. Put 1x1 under there. Hey, 1000 dots, welcome. It is exciting, isn't it? I don't think anybody else can quite feel. I mean, I guess I have brought you guys along on the journey a bit with the ups and downs, and mostly downs, of my streaming attempts. But this is really the main thing that I wanted to get to. Being able to just turn it on and work. And work on stuff that I enjoy the most. Especially stuff where progress is made, I just feel so much better. Man, I need so many 1x1s. I don't have a lot of 2x2s either. I'm just doing this because I got these in bulk. I think some of these are used. No, these are actually new, it looks like. But for some of this work, I'll buy used from time to time. I usually try to buy just new stuff just so that I know the status of everything. I don't have to worry about really, really used versus a little bit used. But for a specific project, then I might just buy used where I don't care about scuffs, and something like this is definitely a good candidate. Just one by one, every single one. There's no real pattern that I can use, because if I try to just measure it out and do everything just perfectly geometrically per what should work, it won't, because the tracks themselves are not perfect. Thank you, Vince. You missed the parts container background. That still exists. So that space, the mock building space, that's still there, and it's actually, I think, a little bit better equipped than the last time I streamed from there. And that's for my custom builds that are kind of offline. Making, like, I've made some train cars recently, and I'll be doing more. I haven't recorded that most recently just because it was stuff where I just wanted to go do it, so I didn't even bother to set up equipment. But it's in that space, and you will be seeing me using that space more in the future. The goal ultimately is anywhere that I do work, especially for this channel, I'll be able to stream from there. I'll be able to share from there. Better than watching SpaceX test starships? I don't think I've ever watched full tests. Isn't it just like a whole lot of waiting? Nowadays they even have really high quality audio and everything, so you don't get that classic mystique of the crackles and the and stuff. Like, everybody has really crystal clear audio, and now we're going to be testing the it's like a C-SPAN or a documentary, I don't know. It's not classic space. Back in the day, not quite the Truman Show, because I actually have the ability to turn these cameras off, or just not turn them on in the first place. I don't feel like having them on. Having that control is very important to me, to my mental health. The streamer world is insane right now. Absolutely insane. By the way, I also have this presently set to the lowest quality, the lowest video quality that YouTube will do. I mean, technically I can make it worse, but this is the ultra low latency setting so that your chats come through in less than 10 seconds as opposed to 20 or so. Not bad at all. Back in my day, if you wanted to talk to somebody, you got off your rear end and you walked. This is filling in nicely. Live streams filmed by people miles away. Oh, lo-fi stuff, eh? Occasionally something explodes. Well, that's fun. Well, there are people in there. Uphill both ways in the snow. And at every block, there'd be the kids. The tough kids. And you'd have to fight them. Otherwise, they'd take your money and your shoes. If you even had shoes. Maybe here? There are plenty of places and plenty of ways when I'm doing stuff like this where it would definitely be more efficient to pick like a different specific piece, a different specific shape, or specific spot or something. But ultimately, for me, it's just simpler to limit the number of different types of pieces that I'm using. Like some of these spots I'll have, you know, 2 1x2s end to end. Why not just put a 1x4 there? Well, because then I'd have to have more of these bags out, and if I have one too many pieces in my hand, I want to switch to some others, and which bag do I put it in? Some of them I can put in the wrong bag and stuff. This is just simple. Simple is good. Simple is so, so good. See you later. Welcome, indeed. Tried to get a pic of the GG1, wasn't able to get some good videos. Okay. I will forever be mad at myself for selling off that GG1 HO scale locomotive I had. I think I was second owner for it. I think it was from a train swap meet. It didn't work all that great, but with just the slightest bit of work, it probably could have been made to work just fine. But just the fact that I offloaded it, I'm not happy about that. There's one thing that I should have kept from that era. That was it. Funny that I would say that. There's one thing that I should have kept from my foray into HO scale. It was that. As opposed to my HO scale F40PH Amtrak train. Believe it or not. That felt less special, or feels less special to me today. Have I gotten out? The 1/16th crawler, it's a 24th, but the mini crawler that I was so excited about and thought was like such a good idea for my personal mental health and all that, and fun and enjoyment of life. Have I gotten it out and used it yet? No. The upgrade tires for the thing were... Oh, am I... Wow, this, you can't even see this. It's terrible. I fail. I absolutely fail. No, I have not used that thing. I'm sorry, guys. I have not used that RC car yet. I have driven it under its own power, maybe a couple of feet back and forth on a table, and that's it. Which is a crying shame. I was saying the tires, good upgrade tires for it, have been out of stock, or were out of stock from the time that I got it, for months, because everybody was happy about the vehicle itself and wanted to make it a little better. I got some popular, well-recommended tires, but I wanted better ones. Basically, I got the ones I was lucky enough to be able to get the ones that most people were recommending, but I wanted better by my standards. And it took months for those to come in, and then they did come in, and I've not done anything with them. I've got glue, I've got foams, I've got a second set of wheels ready, but I've not done anything with any of it. I need to fix that. But at least I am enjoying myself in here. A Lionel GG1. Wow. Question of ignorance here. Is Lionel still using third rail? I feel like I should know that, but I don't. put something there. It's just gonna get in the way, so that'll work. That's fine. Not sure where that's gonna lay. Definitely need some 1x1s in here. That's questionable. Go ahead and... yeah. I'm dying to know. Is Lionel still 3 tracks? Or have they switched to 2 for their modern stuff? Why won't you answer me? Jang, please respond. This is already looking better. Leave that alone. Right here. Yeah, that should. I've got 13 people here just from Patreon. Estimate on how much it would cost in parts for a specific mock. I do feel that is an excellent question, an excellent request, and I feel it would be very valuable to a lot of people. Stuff like that in general, I think, is very valuable, especially for people who most need that information are those who are kind of on the fence about doing mocks, doing custom stuff. You know, just information helps. Information of any kind, whether it's what you want to hear or not. You know, whether the specifics are what you want to hear or not. But I probably will not be able to provide that sort of service the overwhelming majority of the time. And that's because I, pull parts from my existing inventory, which is all stuff that's long since paid for, and values will change dramatically over time of parts. When I make orders, when I'm doing a custom project and I make orders specifically for that project, I still don't get like exactly the number of pieces that I need, because I don't fully design stuff in advance digitally or whatnot. So I end up getting more, and yeah, I don't think that I can provide good, reliable information. Even an estimate I know would be good, but I don't think I'm able to do that as things stand right now. I'm definitely not against sharing that, but I just don't have the data to share. And thank you, Brandon, for the confirmation about Lionel still going with 3 rails. I figured they should at least. Didn't know if they would, but they should. Sure. A lot of their clientele is either older or has stuff passed down from older generations. Compatibility is important. Probably another thing that would be valuable for me to look into for the future here is just a small remote screen that I can move around. Possibly if I could make just a small little miniature combo setup with a couple wires going to it, with a monitor and a microphone together, something that I put on the table so I can just look up and look at the chat. Because right now I have to kind of back up to look around the camera, then turn in that direction. The computer, the laptop, is in that direction. It's not bad. It's not inconvenient. Just more convenience would be better. Set up a tablet to monitor the chat? Yeah, I could do that. Do I have a tablet that would do that? Yeah, I guess I've got that old iMac, or whatever the mini Apple tablet thing. That's doable. Leaning against the building, probably not something I want to get into because it depends on where I'm going to be. Some places, it's not going to be feasible to do that, but I can get like a little stand. Yeah, that would work. Little miniature tripod stand or goby thing, flexible legs. So if I need to put it in a weird spot or over a train or over a car or around a tree or something, I can. But the next thing would be battery life. Just have to make sure that it's charged up because I wouldn't want to run a power wire out to it. Although I have set things up to where I can get USB power right from where I am. Right next to me. I've got 2 stands. One has the camera, the microphone, and a light on it as well. I can actually light this space up a little bit if needed, like if this was in shadow. I know this probably is better, but that's actually not powered from the wall yet. Just a big battery. And as many issues as I've had over the years with interference, with 60 hertz interference, I want to avoid powered stuff, wall powered stuff, as much as possible. And just keep it away. Camera is getting its power. Laptop is getting its power. Those wires are going to be kept away from like the HDMI and stuff. iPad mini, yeah. Little yellow switches. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot that you can do with those little yellow switches. What's the easiest one that you can see right now? There are basically 2 main spots that you can connect these to things. Focus. There we go. So that's fully an open stud or hollow stud. So that works real well. I forget if this is actually a bar. I believe that this is the size of a bar on this side, but otherwise, I don't think that's a minifig sized extension on the side there. That's proprietary. Yeah, surely you could do something with this, something industrial, something related to water treatment, you know, piping and stuff. If they were to redo that part today, though, not that they will. I mean, I guess they could. They still make switches. But if they were to redesign that, I bet they would do it differently. I've really considered taking mine and trying to dye them. I'll probably take one and see if I can dye it, because I don't think this is ABS. I think it feels more like nylon, something with some grain to it, some fiber. I'm gonna try dyeing some with some RIT dye. See if I can't make them like black at worst, or just something that doesn't stand out so much. Oh, thank you. Yeah, these here are not set up just yet. Philippe, is it Philippe or Felipe, or correct me if I'm wrong. These are not set up yet. The ones back there are, so I can reach behind the curtain, push the cheater button. And I can't really see it that much. They're on, trust me. But I'll use the same setup of running wire up the outside to get light into those. Or light into the white ones over here. All right, where am I working? I'm working roughly around here. iPad mini should easily last 12 hours? Really? Okay, well that's not a problem then. I mean, it's kind of old. I don't think it's gonna go that long. There's no way. But I mean, as long as it'll last at least a few hours, that should more than cover almost all streams that I would, you know, care to use it for in that way. I think I should just fill this in. Local friends or family who enjoy Lego, but I've got people pretty geographically close to me. Neighbors, family. They do some Lego. Close family, no. Very close friends, geographically close, not so much. Ultimately, I just don't have anybody geographically close by to do Lego with at this time. There are plenty of people around who like Lego and have some, or have some in the family or something, but as far as actually, you know, being there physically, building with and such, no. I've not looked for such myself. But I also haven't found, incidentally. Oh gosh, Vince, I'm sorry. That you're an iBricks orderer. I kind of wish I had never supported that. I knew it was going to take way longer than Dustin thought it would. He was talking about, you know, shipping stuff out by the holiday season of the year of the Kickstarter campaign. I knew that was not going to happen. He was really confident about it, but I definitely did not expect it to go this long. I just feel bad. No, I don't think he can even afford to do like refunds. That would certainly be better for his life, you know. Just get it off his plate entirely. But he really seems to still be committed to it. He believes in it. He's personally assembling, you know, 1 or 2 or whatever it is per week, from time to time at least. But yeah, it's rough. AFOL life can be lonely. As long as you enjoy it, like if you feel the need to do this stuff with others, then yeah, depending upon where you are, if you don't have a good lug around you, it can definitely be a lonely thing. For me, fortunately, I enjoy it just myself, and then I've got, you know, the audience obviously to share with. So, you know, that certainly helps make it not just me building stuff. But fortunately, if it was just me building stuff, I'd still do it, you know, and not feel at all bad about it. I think Lego will do double points for Christmas in July. I want to say I hope so, but I don't remember enough about the history of the timing and everything to know how certain that is. I think it's worth waiting to see. Yeah, I've actually opened one of those up and also seen some of his behind the scenes shots. And yeah, it's a lot of labor. It's entirely too much labor that's involved in making those, manual labor involved in making those iBricks things here in the States. Like the amount of stuff that's done at the manufacturing facility is not significant. It's mostly the individual light bricks that get prepared. They're pretty much done. They still have to be, I think they're done. I think he gets them completed. At one point there was a thought that he might not, but I think he gets those completely done. And then the power converter boards, I don't know what they are. So he gets power supplies. Those are just pre-made. They're just power supplies. You know, AC, DC, done. 12 volt, whatever it is. But then he's got the driver box, which is proprietary. That circuitry gets made at a factory, and I believe the box itself gets assembled and just has wires coming out from it. But the loop, the actual transmitter loop of wire inside of each base plate, that's done manually. And the base plates themselves are made of 2 regular plates, like strictly bricks plates, you know, full plates, not thin Lego-like base plates, but full 1 plate thick ones, which appear to be then routed. The lower one gets routed out on, I don't know if he's just using a router with a jig or something, but the studs get shaved off to make space for the rounded corner square loop of wire inside, which gets manually run in there, and then he slathers acetone over the whole thing, puts another one on top after putting small bricks, or not bricks, but plates around the edges, plus some in the center for support. Like, it's actually built up. He's building a 32 by 32 brick after modifying the lower plate of it by actually routing out probably a good 60 to 70% of the studs. It's a ridiculous amount of work. Ooh, free Lego. Lucky. I'm glad for people who are able to do it with their kids, as long as their kids don't drive them crazy. Spreading the parts around the house. I think I've done just about as much as I can in this little area with these tiles for the moment. I'd like to start filling some of this in. Let me do that. Wait, I have not gotten out here. Let me finish this. This little bit right in this corner. I think there's about a 0% chance that he'll make a profit at this point. What? Your kids don't share your need to organize. Kids are very organized, especially with toys. That's what I've heard. Never. Sweet. Glad to hear that. See you later. That is good news. And a lot of people have that outlook. I don't use this anymore. I want it to be used. I will find joy from knowing that somebody will enjoy this stuff further in the future. So here you go. That's the best way. Okay, I think I'm pretty set now. There's one here. Yeah. I'll just take it all the way in. We'll take it all the way in. Bring her home. Probably going to take out this foliage in the middle and add some terrain to it, give it a little bit of depth at some point. Middle. There, one up. That's it. It's okay. It's That's not gonna work. These diagonals can be a pain. So many spots need 1x1s to fit in there. We'll make it work. How have I been coping with the world? Biggest thing that I'm doing, like, for myself is taking breaks. Taking a lot more breaks. Just allowing myself as frequently as needed to do nothing, because yeah, so much stuff is just weighing down from every direction that there's just bad juju just hanging in the air. You know, as much as I need to work, get more stuff done, be productive. Being productive is good. There's just too many things stacked up in the world in general, and then, you know, plus I've had my own more than my share, as we've talked about, far too much of calamity with all the hardware and software crashes and losses and everything, and just sometimes just biting the bullet and stopping. I'm very fortunate that I'm able to do that. Not that it feels good at all, not that it feels like I have the luxury. It still feels actually not good at all to do it. I do need to be working more. But man, mental health is just so much more important in the long run. Of course, the older you get, the more you realize that. Patricio, welcome. Drew, welcome. Yep, so the brown to light gray is the thing that I'm fighting right now. One of the reasons that I have light gray, probably the main reason that I have light gray used at all, is for the passenger train space, the passenger train yard. And forgive me for the audio not being consistent, but I already talked about that. The microphone is very directional. I figured that the passenger train space, and where there's ultimately going to be a maintenance shed down there, all that would be relatively clean and concreted over. It will probably not be studded ultimately. A lot of it will be tiled over and smooth. But that's why I used the light gray base plates through a lot of this space in particular. The transition, I guess I can move this in a little bit more. The transition from brown to light gray is something that I don't want, and I'm not happy about. But ultimately, in universe, the simplest way of putting it is, yes, it represents going from dirt to concrete. But what I'm working on today is adding in ballast here to take some of that away, where it shouldn't be going directly from brown to light gray. It should be going from brown to dark gray. So this should all be ballasted with dark gray, just like the rest of my area out here that's pretty much done, with just little bits of light gray and black and brown and dark tan and stuff, just to, you know, make it look a little bit like it's granite bedding. But yeah, there should be no light gray on this side of this track. This is the main passenger loop. So anything back here should be dark gray or brown. Now the brown does represent dirt. Now, a lot of people have said the brown looks too dark. I considered doing tan. I considered doing dark tan before I put all this in, and I just wanted brown. It's just closer to what I want. And also brown, I feel, I don't know, feels dirtier. You know, like a dark tan feels more toyish, adds in more contrast. It's not what I wanted. I think that I can make these spaces in between the tracks a little bit more believable. You know, I put all this, or a lot of this foliage in, half dead foliage, just on a whim, just to have something there rather than nothing. I'm probably going to take some of that back out temporarily. And I was talking about earlier, put in just a little bit of terrain, just add a little bit of depth and height, maybe make this, have some raised edges around here to make this little pool make more sense, where more moisture stays longer, so the plants stay greener longer. But yeah, that's most of what I'm going through. And then this line here, as it goes up, this is presently against brown, and it should not be. That should all be dark gray underneath for the ballast. Good to hear, 1,000 dots. I'm glad this is a good escape for you. Am I pleased with how Patreon is going, getting decent support? I could not be more pleased. It's fantastic. I appreciate absolutely all of it. I'm always nervous that I'm not doing enough. And I'm assuming I just always will be. Just let that happen, you know. It has continued to grow. Typically, you know, Patreon stuff, especially stuff that hasn't been properly marketed and properly promoted. You know, like I haven't really properly promoted the Patreon thing. You know, I've got my main channel, and how much have I done to promote Patreon on that? You know, I've got links. I mention it at the end of some videos. You know, some of the streams, the Patreon specific streams go up and stuff. People see that, but you don't see me out there. There is no video on my channel. It's like, hey, everybody, this is a YouTube channel. There are a lot of you here. I want a lot of you to go check out my Patreon page and preferably sign up and support. I have never done that. And especially given that the amount of support that I have is fantastic. And the fact that it has continued to grow. You know, typically Patreon patronage on a given campaign will grow, and then it'll kind of reach a plateau. And then at the end, near the end of the month, or at the beginning of a month when the billing cycle happens, you'll see a huge dip. And I've only seen just these tiny little dips so far. I'm astonished that people really do like the stuff that I do that much to actually stay with me on Patreon. You know, some people have taken their pledge amount down, which is fantastic. It's so much better than it's such a gift to me as opposed to just leaving after a time. So yeah, I can't complain. I can't ask for more. But the side of me that all friends and family and biggest supporters have always pushed for, of me wanting to value my own work more, tries to break through and say, I'd like to see Patreon patronage grow further into the future. Like I'd love to see, you know, we're almost at 300 now. I'd love to see it at 500 someday, but I need to feel like I deserve that, or better yet, the work that I do deserves that. I don't feel like I'm there yet, but I feel like I'm working in that direction. Doing stuff like this and this channel here, this is working in that direction. So I feel like it's plausible. I do feel like there's upside yet, but what's here so far is fantastic. Whatever, bring back the rail riders. That was a cool little thing, right? I would like to. I'd like to have something like that. I don't know if it would be in this exact form or that exact form, but something like that. I'd love to have like a little circuit somewhere. Maybe I could kind of integrate it into the Mellenby district in some way. Possibly in a different form. I might just stick with plastic track there, but you know, something like that. I did like that. And that movement and the racing aspect of it that I enjoy. Or, you know, the idea of performance. And I think I've gotten to a point where I don't see any easy opportunities to use 1x2. Well, maybe like a couple. I need to pull up some smaller pieces, start really filling this stuff in. Unfortunately, I brought with me, and I'll be able to show it to you. Let me go grab this real quick. It's just 10 feet away. I brought something very convenient. Big helper for myself. A little piece of my wall of parts stuff with the containers even. The same ones. These are just extras that I haven't put into production yet. I just took all the drawers out and then grabbed drawers from the wall and stuck them in here so that I could bring all these with me very simply and easily and have them in a convenient place rather than having each drawer in a separate place, like sprawled out on the ground. So as you can see, light gray, dark gray, black, 1x X plates. Exactly what I need. And since I want to work on the dark grays right now, I'll just pull this out. Unfortunately, a bigger one. So get down under there and just start grabbing. So I'll put this on top of that stack. And it's easy access. It's funny, this spot where I am right now is the worst place to do what I'm doing, especially for a first try of streaming, because it has the narrowest walkway on this side of the city, the narrowest space to work in, and I'm right up against the fireplace. See the base stone for the fireplace is there? So I've got all this equipment over here, and it's really optimized down to work, and I'm not feeling uncomfortable, like physically uncomfortable. I could continue this for quite some time. So that is a testament to things being set up properly for sustainability. Virgio, welcome. Bricks are still in one big mess. It depends on how much stuff you have. You know, for the longest time I had just one big mess, one big bin of bricks. As long as the bin is big enough, or you know, even if you don't have the time to do multiple, but you just want to be able to get to stuff more easily, you know, without having everything sorted out in the best possible way, without going full on with it, just have a couple or a few bins. The most important thing with those is that they be large, the surface area be big, so that you can do this. So that you can do this and see what's underneath the stack. This isn't inefficient. Like, you know, if this was all the bricks that you had in total, you could still find everything as long as this is that big. But if this was half the, you know, the depth, or I guess the length in this case, and just, you know, extended way down here, then trying to dig through that, that's a pain and that hurts. But the simplest thing, just switching to shallow, wider containers and use a couple of them, depending upon the bulk of bricks you have, that can do it. That can like make your life significantly better. Finally says, I've actually, you kid, but I've thought about stuff like that. Ways to either move above the tables, like there are things that can be done to make that happen. Maybe not that crazy, but either that or hanging equipment from the ceiling and being able to move equipment around on ceiling-based tracks or something, or being able to move Lego stuff around on ceiling-based tracks for that matter. What a digging through Lego in a plastic bin ringtone. They're shoebox ones. Exactly. A couple of multiple small drawer units. There you go. As long as you can get to all the parts without having to at least desire to take like half of it out. That's the most important thing. As long as you can get to it, it doesn't matter how organized or not, or how separated and sorted the pieces are. Was unballasted track a contributing factor to crocodile issues? It was not, because plenty of people out there have no ballast and they just put these tracks directly on flat surface and still had the issues. Unballasted stuff, if anything, is a little bit better for the health of the tracks and letting their joints be exactly how they want to be. Because as soon as you start to ballast things like this, you have less movement potential. Because everywhere I have studs under there, that limits movement, which is not a good thing. You'd expect it might be a good thing, but it's actually not a good thing because these are not perfectly aligned to the grid. The diagonals, the curves, they don't perfectly align to the Lego grid. So exactly where they are is never going to be exactly where they need to be. And as things flex and move just from, you hit the table, everything in a 10 to 15 square foot area has just shifted slightly. So that actually can make things worse. You do imagine a big planetary defense force ship suspended above that mountain one day? Oh, well, that most likely will be happening. There will probably be a fleet in the sky. Micro down to nanoscale. For forced perspective. The distance between stud connections. So I actually am not studying any of these to the table. These tracks, they're not connected. The stud things that I mentioned is in between, because I'm going for a studded texture for the most part. Let me see if without moving things too much, I can get you an example here. So that's the texture that I go for, and you look up. You see a little bit of area in there where there's a combination between studded stuff and tiled stuff. The tiles go in where needed because there's just no space for the studs because I want my tracks to be directly against the surface below. The studs are for the sake of texture. I want that texture to make it look more like rocks a little bit, at least to me from a distance. But what I was saying about studded stuff is the studs basically stick up in between the sleepers, in between the plastic parts of the track. And they then hold the track in place and they restrict the track from moving. The tracks themselves, like a single straight track, is 16 studs long, and then you've got the width of 8, but then the angles are odd. Curves mess everything up, and yeah, it's just a mess. Correct. The track is almost entirely floating on tiles, and it's just kept from moving around by studs that stick up and kind of just restrict its side-to-side movement. But a lot of it ultimately is just held in place by its shape. What happened to my white aliens? Nothing. They're in a bag underneath the Planetary Defense Force base. Just sitting there waiting for me to figure out something to do with them. I feel less of a need these days to use them at all. I still like them. Alright, I'm going to put a gray piece right there, light gray. I try to work my way from this switch that way first, filling this in. just to have some more direction. You can attach anything to anything. Clips, bars, and flex tube. That's what the great mock makers of the world do. Just use flex tube, man. Lego needs to make like a flex tube spray can. Like a silly string product. But it comes out as official Lego plastic. You can literally make anything. I just saw this Lego train in half. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of using flex tube for everything myself. Point signals, yeah, I've definitely thought about that. You know, these switches can be operated without the switches, without the switch part, the handle part, the whatever you call that officially part. You know, you can just do that. So yeah, I could decorate that. I was talking about earlier, I've been thinking about trying to dye these to make them all black just so that they don't look as toyish as they do. But yeah, I would like to get some more small trackside machinery and electronics boxes and stuff set up in here. I think that'll help a lot. Everywhere I do have some signals, you know, lights of some sort, or you know, the crossings, all that stuff I think looks good. I like having it. So more of that I think will help things out quite a bit. Oh, I realized I just skipped a little bit there. Should I go black there, or should I just let's put a 1x4 in that spot. Just fill it in. And let's just backfilling a little bit. Put a black piece there. Yes. All right. Proceed. Yes. No. Too much. Too little. Too much. All right. Let's do this. Your childhood sets, that's always fun. It's best if you find stuff like that, if you come upon stuff like that after you've been away. You know, like you went to your dark ages and then came back and then found that stuff, old stuff, that's when you can really appreciate it the most, because you really understand what you're looking at. And you miss it. You know, you have the nostalgia as well. It's kind of like a perfect storm. That did not work out at all, did it? Did I just put that piece there? That's not good. Just messed myself up right there. I'm not even gonna screw around with trying to get that out. I'm just gonna pop it out. I don't care that I'm going to do a little bit of damage to this. I just don't want to waste time trying to extract it. I'll just use that piece somewhere else down here. Yeah, there's a little bit of damage, but oh well. There. Problem solved. But that needs a 1x1 tile right there. that little corner. CD dump truck from 2009. I don't remember that one offhand. Does it have the panels? Is the dump bed, Brandon, does it have the panels that are like extra large panels that are almost like window pieces, just molded in a solid color with 1x plates, excuse me, 1x tiles to create kind of a framed look to it, like framed steel? Take care. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time, huh? Animals hidden amongst Technic centerpieces for the bed. 2 boulders. Truck articulates in the center. Oh, the articulated one. Yes. Yeah, I like those in general. Animals hidden amongst. There are a couple of animals around in the wild, but nothing here yet. I should bring in at least some mice, some rodents, or some things. And some insects, too. Or spiders every once in a while or something. I'm just going to fill that in. I think I need another bit of gray. Light gray in there. That'll work. A scorpion somewhere wouldn't be a bad idea. Not a lot of them, but yeah. Guest shuttle for zoo patrons between. I do have a zoo bus. My vintage bus is pretty much specifically for the zoo. I haven't considered where it actually goes, but it exists. Something change up, yeah. Change up the texture a little bit. It's funny, the process of simulating randomness. You never want to actually do it properly random, because things that are properly random have some areas that to the human eye appear very non-random. You'll have a bunch of black, like a big stain of black, or the light gray or something. Toss a coin 50 times and 50 times enough times and you'll get streaks of 10 heads in a row and stuff like that. So you have to do fake randomness. Special video for my 10-year anniversary. I honestly not really thinking about that. It's just a number, and I have so much stuff on my plate right now that I'd rather just do what feels right and work on the backlog. Got a lot of summer sets to review too and stuff, so yeah, I think I'll just let that go. I've been on YouTube itself since 2005, so it's not even that big of a deal. You know, it's just this one particular channel. When it happened to be initiated, I didn't even start uploading at first. like the look of that. It's going to need... That's going to need a tile. This will need a tile also. Progress. Yeah, parking lot. So many people want me to do parking lots for pretty much everything for the sake of realism. And the thing with parking lots, they take up insane amounts of space. I mean, to be able to park a vehicle, you know, takes up a good chunk of space by itself, just a single one. And then to be able to park even like 4 cars, you could put a building in the space that it takes to park 4 cars, you know? That's why I've really tried to... I'm actually planning to have, as things stand right now, my plan is to have some parking for the zoo, but it's not going to look like a parking lot, that's for sure. People have talked about parking garages forever. Why don't you put a parking garage downtown? Every downtown space in real life needs a parking garage. Or 3 or 4. Yeah, that would ruin everything. Kind of like doing a airport, you know? The amount of space required to make any of these major things look right. I mean, even I'm up against harsh realities with the zoo. You know, a lot of people enjoyed the zoo as it was, but honestly, it was tiny. You think about the animals, you know, total cruelty. And even though I'm having 3 times as much space with the new setup, still, it's not that much, especially for the number of animals that I want to use. Put a 3 by here and this at the edge. Black. Yeah, black. G'day, Nicole. Go to bed, Brandon. Just do it. Just do it. Do it. You can always watch on replay. It will be available for replay. Tell you what, I'm glad I did this first one. Patreon only. Y'all are so chill. It's really helpful to me personally. I appreciate it. Get under there. Get under there. Get under there. Turn. The other way. There. Yep. No. No. Yes. Good. Stay. I want to bring the brown here. Pinch it in just a little bit. This is good. This is so much better than it was an hour ago. Gosh, that was a real pain point. I should fill in this little bit here as well. Just a little bit. Yeah, it's too bad the light is kind of giving you a glare, but this is light gray still underneath. This base plate comes all the way right to here. There's light gray poking through, so I'll probably continue down here and then come back to this side. Oh, it's popping off in the chats, bros! fireworks and things to pop up on the screen and unicorn pandas and stuff. Movie quotes. Guy from Mortal Kombat just coming out off the side of the screen. Toasty! Do people even say MLG anymore? That used to be the thing. I don't even hear it get used that much anymore, which makes me sad. It was so good. Only for the meme, okay. At least it is still alive, that's good. Ha! Run the trains while I'm doing this. That would be a good challenge. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Brandon. See, I was planning on having this be Patreon only for the first 15 minutes or something, just to get it going, and then to switch the public thing on. But I ended up just being happy with the vibe as it is, and just stuck with it, at least for this first one. So, hopefully I won't regret this. Hopefully I won't forget to switch it back next time. But there you go. The first version of this stream was just a little bit earlier in the day, and it was only shown to one person, one friend. And we got on the phone, had him on speaker, and we had a good time. But unfortunately, I didn't learn much from that because everything was working. Not complaining. Vince, in real life or in Lego? And if in Lego, then are you talking about in official sets or what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Be specific, son. require more Vespine gas. I mean, data. So you're talking about like ups and downs, ramps and such, yeah? They have those for roller coaster, and they have those for narrow gauge. They're very steep. They probably won't be doing them in narrow gauge anymore since they've got the roller coaster system now. But that's it. And they've I don't think they've ever done regular L gauge ramp pieces, just monorail. Yeah, for Lego, you just kind of fake it. You know, there's enough give in the ends of the pieces, in the joints, that for the types of inclines that these trains are actually able to go up, you just add, just add a stud of height, or excuse me, a plate of height every, what is it, 2 or 3 tracks, something like that. If you're going power functions, you can go a little bit more steep. But yeah, these tracks will work to do ramps, just not crazy ones. Oh, also Duplo. Duplo does elevations a lot. Because Duplo's better. I honestly wish they could bring some of the goodness of Duplo trains to the regular system. Running out of options here. I'm gonna need those 1x1s pretty soon. I think this has to go both slots. Just enough to fit that there. I'm almost caught up, almost filled in down here. What do you guys think about the NES system? As soon as I said that, I realized I don't believe I saw the final US price for it. I need to reference that. Oh, geez. There are so many ads on Brickset. When you're not logged in. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad. Wow, it's so bad. Yeah, you can. People say, "Oh, you just don't get it, do you, Scott?" But seriously, you can get a real working thing like the actual system and an old black and white CRT for that. You can probably get a bigger old black and white CRT one rather than having just the one antenna. It has the full rabbit ears, both, for that price. And then you can actually play games, and it would come with games too, in good shape. Multiple games, not just one piece of one level. The set looks so cool. It looks so cool. I love it. I'm not a Nintendo fan myself, as I'm sure I've stated too many times. I have nothing against it. I'm not personally a fan of it, but I think that set looks awesome. $230. You could get the real thing. I don't know. I think I'm just about there. Oh, that can be a 1x2 right there. Gotta look from directly above. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, Brandon, it's a blessing and or a curse, depending upon how you look at it, having that feature available to us in Brickset. Dang it. Dang it, Boomhauer. Where's the other one? Something's sticking up where it ought not to. Oh, there it is. Alright, this'll work. The want list is especially good. Fortunately, Lego's own want list is actually working. For quite some time, it was pretty wonky, but the want list features can definitely be very convenient, especially since it's just a single click. Do I risk that one? No, I'm just going to put a tile under that. I thought that Legos was fixed. I guess not. Can never trust Lego to get their web stuff right. Seems ever. Do I mix or plan on mixing old gray? I don't. There may come a time and a place for that, but it's not here. Here I just have the contrast between old gray being the sleepers and then gray with the little bits of, or the newer dark gray with little bits of light gray and black representing the ballast itself. So I keep that. I don't think I've done any project where I have properly mixed the two together. I think I've used the old gray in some places where I wanted to have just a little different color. Or where, I just had pieces and just made an entire thing with the old gray, but I generally don't try to mix them. If I do something old at some point that in universe is supposed to be old, it's supposed to be vintage, I might try that trick. What did I do before YouTube? Well, before this YouTube channel, I did YouTube. I don't know, was it 09 or so? 09 to 13? I did YouTube, a different one. And before that, user experience design for mostly web-based software. Like UI Design++, full experience. Last place I worked was PayPal. It takes too many clicks. I couldn't figure out how to get where I needed to go. Who's responsible for this? Somebody put me in touch with a manager. One of the major projects that I worked on at PayPal in the Trust and Safety division was redesigning the resolution center, where people would go to basically, file complaints against bad sellers or bad transactions and such, or against bad buyers, I guess, people that bought stuff and the money didn't come through, but the product was actually shipped out. And on release week, normally you expect when a big release goes out, new code base, new interface, customer support calls will go up, even if it's good. Even if the changes ultimately are good, support calls will generally go up because people just won't know where stuff is. Like that. That's that part of the Ants movie where the twig falls across the line. It's like, I'm lost. Our customer support calls for the main types of calls that we got in Resolution Center at that time went down. I think it was it almost 40% week over week? And I was like, yeah. Hey, readability is no joke. It's an entire science. And it is important to recognize that not everybody sees 2020. Not everybody has a 7 to 10 inch screen, 20 billion contrast ratio, iris display or whatever. You laugh. A lot of the places I've worked have been in the throes of the same difficulties, the same uphill battle that's been going on forever. Features versus UI and engineer design versus designer design and user-focused design. And depending upon what organization the right people in management come from, oftentimes the answer is, well, we just need it to work, so shut up and deliver some pages and launch. And UI designers are charged with fighting against that, fighting the good fight, and supporting that fight with data is not always easy to get, especially since oftentimes it costs money and costs engineering resources to do proper tests, A/B tests and stuff like that. Try to do your little focus groups. You can't get but so much information from stuff like that. some stuff has to be done live. It requires building up trust within an organization, sometimes moving horizontally from one group, like from I've moved back and forth between marketing, product development, project management, and engineering groups. Basically, generally the closer I can be to engineers, the more I can get their respect, the more I can get work done. That ultimately, trickles back, and everybody gets to take credit for it. Yeah, so much stuff behind the scenes. Oh, man. It's managers and marketers that get most of the glory, and everybody else does the actual work. But c'est la vie. I just remembered my first full-time job. I actually started out in the sales org. Oh man, that was not a good place for me. I was doing UI design, but technically I was underneath a VP who was VP of sales. Fortunately, he was an alright dude, but just that org and the culture got a lot of tchotchkes, a lot of free stuff out of it. That was the best part. Just cutthroat, really. Kind of slimy. Stress, I mean, I guess, fortunately, I wasn't involved in sales directly myself. I was just doing design stuff and supporting them, but yeah, I don't know what sales itself is like, but the whole culture is just so cutthroat. Quotas. Oh. Okay. Your angle. That looks weird. I'm just going to take it off. Sticks out like a sore thumb. All right, that's better. Okay, so what I have done so far in this session is mostly fill in this space here. A lot of this coming all the way down to here. Need to get the edges a little bit, thicken up the edges just a little bit down through here. But right now, I'll go ahead and finish that up right now, and then switch over and do this little bit in here. And then this area in general will look much, much, much better. Take care, Brandon. Thanks for stopping by. Good times as always. Such a good group. So thankful. I guess most of this actually needs to be filled in with tiles out there. Good morning, Francis. 6:11. Man, that's early. Aren't you all glad to be fans of Lego and not something contentious? Like, in this hobby, everybody from all around the world can just come together and just talk about stuff and enjoy stuff. And we're all cool. I don't know if this is going to focus properly, but I'm going to try to do just this little strip right here real quick. See that I started on it some time ago. I guess I'll just switch over to 1x2s and tiles. I did the 2x4s already. Lego's the only thing that can save us. Vince, you know what's really sad? I do get clearly adolescents and or teens going through the edgy phase that come through and like, oh, I see you're doing Patreon now. You no longer care about the community. You no longer care about Lego. You're now just doing this for the money. And the thing is, the degree to which they are completely off the mark and being hypocritical, because they're the ones that are just thinking about the money part of it. They're the ones that are thinking of it as just a way to get dollars. But the reality is that the value to me, as you all have witnessed yourselves as the ones in this community and the ones who have given the money, as you all have witnessed, the greatest value to me has been the moral support and the part of the financial contributions that have allowed me to do things that I enjoy more, that then you all enjoy more. And doing more of the hobby stuff, you know, and sharing the hobby stuff. And the community aspect of it, of, you know, all you people with your names that are recognizable, even those of you who change them too frequently. Yeah, all y'all seem to be pretty happy. And that's what I care about. If at any time you guys feel I'm doing a bad job, do let me know. And seriously, just do. You don't have to tell me now, no, you're not doing a bad job, everything's fine. I appreciate that, but you know, if, just let me know. I just realized. I need to go back and look to see if like Elves or something has used the squirrel mold in a white-based color. I feel like they've come close, but maybe I'm thinking of like a fox or something. But if not, I need to get just a knockoff Lego Friends squirrel in white. this is kind of a mess. It's all over the place. Squirrel rattler. Wow. You know what I want to get? Oh, I don't think it's even Duplo. I think it's Quadro. The Gigantor. Nope. Bigger. Wouldn't fit on the screen here. The Gigantor dump truck. I think it was Quadro. Double the size of Duplo. I want one of those. It looked like it was a terrible product. Like just thin, cheap plastic. Dollar store kind of stuff. But it's official Lego. Squirrels only have dark orange, medium lavender, and bright light orange. Gotcha. Thanks for checking. So... I'm trying to figure out if I should go for it on that one or not. I don't think I should. I'll do this. So knockoff it is. Oh, what if the leader of the white aliens that go against the Planetary Defense Force base wasn't actually a squirrel, okay, but looked suspiciously like a squirrel, or had a ship that looked suspiciously like a squirrel? Now the question is, are your real-life white squirrels a menace to society? Like our brown ones are out here. They are pests. They're seen like rats. Although I personally still like them. A lot of people don't. Squirrel 1, squirrel 2, pull in. I take it if they're endangered, there aren't a ton of them though. Or at least if they're protected, there aren't a ton of them. White Squirrel Gang, that could work for a season of Ninjago. Or Monkey Kid. That'd probably work better with Monkey Kid. Ah, I see. Do they bark? Our brown ones out here bark incessantly. They're regular alarms, intruder alarms. Lego TV stuff, I don't know. It depends on how much of an adult you are. If there's anything that I would recommend to adults in general to try from Lego official TV stuff, City Adventures, which is going on presently. I think it's just in season 2 right now. Second part of season 2. Lego City Adventures definitely has a lot of jokes that are more for older folks. Not a lot, and still silly. It's made for kids, very much. But I think it's the type of thing that more adults would enjoy than most of their other themes. Yeah, it's just comedy. There's some slapstick. There's some twists, and they just bring interesting and funny characters and different characters to regular-ish city settings. Monkey Kid will last as long as President Xi says to. I personally, honestly, have no insight into that. Excuse me. Monkey Kid is definitely not your typical Lego theme. They'll just go like Exonites. I'm sure that products and themes last different amounts of times in completely different cultures. In some there's stuff that's like flash in the pan, way more than here. Like some trends come and go way more quickly in some cultures outside of the US, but then others will stick around like forever. And Monkey King is one that has definitely stuck around forever. I don't know if Lego will be in it for the long haul with their theme. Last 1x2s from that bag. I do have some more, but not a lot. It looks like I picked a good amount of stuff to work on. Sure, I'm still working in your area. All right. Well, hello, Flak Maniac. I did not see you there. My goal is to... So, ultimately, my goal is to show studs wherever possible. Because for this ballasting that I'm doing, I like the texture of studs. I feel like the studs look more like granite bedding. So I just want to show studs wherever I can. In this strip, I am putting tiles wherever I need to, where studs cannot stick up because there's, plastic backing of the track that's actually there. And I don't want to have gaps, so I don't want to just put studs everywhere that I can and then leave the rest open and empty, because then you'll see height changes that are weird. You'll see gaps or transitions between different colors of base plates, or you'll see gaps or edges of base plates and stuff. So the primary goal is stud all the things where possible. And then the secondary goal is don't leave gaps awkwardly where studding is not possible. That'll be one by one. That'll be one by one, one by one. Just looking through here. I think I'm good. One by one there, one by one there, one by one there. These are both right on the edge. So one by one. One by one. Here also. Again. These. I was going to use 1x2s. Let's get this. Yeah, I clearly will need another 10,000 1x2 tiles or something like that. I've got a lot of this kind of work to do. Although I do have a lot of straights, but I also have a lot of turns yet. And here. And this is it, down to the last few. I do try to watch Ninjago, but I have not even seen Prime Empire yet. Since they're doing the 10-minute things web-based now, I have not been keeping up. Plus, the show comes out in English form at a completely different time from when the sets come out, so I don't even have that kind of reminder to work for me, so I need to go back and do Prime Empire and then see the latest ones, which some people are putting up on YouTube with their own third-party subtitles. Very much appreciated. I wish this stuff could just be released everywhere at the same time, but it's not. Lego Mario, I will definitely be doing the main starter set. Probably nothing beyond that, because I have no faith in the series myself. I don't get it. I don't think it makes sense as a product, but I want to try it. I want to give it a fair shot. I'm very curious about that. But Mario itself, and the screen and the sounds and all that. But probably nothing beyond that until they do. I may well get the NES, and I'm open to future stuff from the Mario theme or the Nintendo theme. But I'm definitely not going to try to like build up big courses and do runs through it and stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'll just turn on my Xbox. Play things with actual AI. Okay, I actually want to wrap up soon-ish, but I want to finish up some stuff first. I want to at least finish this little strip here, which I can do some of it now. I also need to get my tub of 1x1 tiles to finish some of it. Yeah, I'm curious if kids will enjoy the Mario thing. Just that's the thing for me. It doesn't look like it's that good of a toy, especially for the price. Doesn't seem like a sensible investment for parents. Yeah, honestly, I don't care if people our age like it or not. I just think that it doesn't make sense as a toy. Yeah, the funny thing is, we think about Lego as, being primarily about the building experience and the creativity, but Lego itself found out once again that a lot of kids aren't interested in that. And in the case of testing, at least their focus group testing for the Mario stuff in particular, they found that kids did not like having too much openness to the building process, the building levels, which is exactly why they created the specialized pieces to make, the un-Lego-like pieces to make building levels easier and swapping segments easier, rather than doing just traditional, what we would consider more proper Lego building. That was actually based on feedback from potential users of the product. And it's funny, I believe that part, but I don't believe all of their testing. Like a lot of the results of their testing with kids doesn't make sense to me. Some of their learnings I don't agree with. They make me question their methodology. But at least with that one, I do agree there. Leaving things too open-ended for today's kids can leave a lot of them thinking, what do I do now? Tell me what to do. Where are the instructions? Yeah, Patricio, I agree completely. Definitely seems like something cool. Like you load it up, you get the app going, you hear all the sounds, you try different things, see if you can break it, see if you can come up with cheats and tricks and stuff. And yeah, you could get bored with it pretty quickly, yeah. Yeah, the Ninjago Season 13 stuff has a D&D style, or I don't know, tile-based game option to it with a substitute for a die and everything. But at least that uses pieces. It uses actual Lego pieces. It's more Lego-like instead of coming up with new ones. Speaking of new pieces, sorry to go a little bit off topic here on a tangent, but I have to say that Technic cement truck and its drum pieces, big, huge, specialized drum pieces with the Archimedes screw on the inside. Very interesting. So disappointed that those pieces are printed. Yeah, we want prints. Like, stop doing stickers for things. But if you're gonna do a part that's brand new, it's huge, it's gonna be very expensive, and they're not gonna make a lot of them, that is a perfect time to, if you need to decorate it, use stickers so that everybody who wants to use those parts for any other purpose can. But instead, they've locked us into having the big C with 2 arrows on the thing. Unless you can find a solvent or something that will safely take that off, you're just locked in. It has to be a C logoed thing. It can't just be a container with a color that you then, decorate however you want with other pieces surrounding it or whatnot. I feel like a heretic for supporting the idea of, or being against the idea of something being printed. But in that case in particular, I'm very adamant about it. Just want to get to this switch. If I can just get here, I'll be happy. Right? Such a cool piece with the screw on the inside. And Hugh at Brickset said that it's big enough, the slot is big enough to accommodate GBC balls. Soccer balls, basketballs, whatever. That's got to be tiled. Yeah, it's funny how the set actually does have quite a lot of stickers. Probably way more than it needs. Honestly, some of that decoration I think didn't need to be there, because you can see that they were taking direct inspiration from the city cement truck line. Of course, based in turn off real life ones, but you know, those had pretty simple color schemes, the ones that they're inspired by, just blue and white. But they had to add on all these like racing stripes and stuff. Then they didn't use stickers for the two big things. Ugh. You just don't get it, do ya, Lego? Okay, getting there. Almost done everything that I can with studded parts up to here. Maybe can I put? No, I'm gonna put a tile under that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this off with tiles, guys. So I'm gonna have to run to the other room and grab my tile bin. I will be right back. Yes, I'm back. Ooh, medium nougat. Where is it? Focus, yeah. That can be used on the rarest of occasions for just a little bit of extra difference. Has to be rare, though. Actually, Jang, it's pronounced nougar. I don't see an R in it. I'm from America, Jack. Speak American. Mercure. Wow, wow. Psh. I did not take a before pic, but I've got it all on video. Huh? Huh? Does that count? I took thousands of pictures. And you can see every single one of them if you do like this with the pause button. I know what you mean, though. I should have. You always do it before. Ooh. Oh, I thought I saw a dark orange one by one. I didn't think I had any of those. Oh, here, that is a dark orange one by one. Ooh, well, that's fancy. I'll use that, I guess. Why not? Don't want it too close to that nougat one, though. No, that's too regular. Doesn't look like I have a good spot for one right now. Ah, that looks good. That'll work. Yes. Oh man. Wow. I didn't even think of that. Rewinding is not something that is done anymore. Gosh. What a world we live in. It's insane. Yeah, scrubbing, yes. That's still the term that's used. Parts organization, I have at least a couple of videos out there about my parts organization. I think the most recent one is recent enough to show, yeah, if you just go to my channel or go to YouTube and search for Jang Bricks parts collection or something like that, that should find it for you. Oh, there are 1x2s here too. Oh, cool. That simplifies things, doesn't it? Jeez. Can't believe that's the newest. And that it's that old either. I need to do better. They were going to visit me this week. Had to cancel as we've gone back in the lockdown direction. Excuse me just one moment. Finish it. This is looking pretty good. Yeah. I can actually have studs. Therefore, it will shine. Yes. And this can too, I guess. Interesting. Yep. Just in frame. Genuine love of Lego. Genuine love of Lego. You must not have been watching much YouTube lately. All we YouTubers only do it for the money. Somebody said so. Therefore, you know it's true. I mean, think about it. Think about it. All you got to do is think. Open your mind. Don't be a sheep. Don't be brainwashed. Did I do it? I think I did it. I think everything's filled in. This part is complete. Let me look over here real quick. I think just a handful of additional tiles. This session will be done. Good progress. Well, I mean, obviously, the kids, basically, it's kids, 99% of the time, who make comments like that are commenting from their $500 phones, you know, on their internet service that, well, their unlimited data plans that, you know, isn't free. Just saying, isn't free. They wear their clothes never more than once because stuff is going out of style instantly. And it's not like clothes are free, especially name brand stuff. I don't mind ignorance. I do mind hypocrisy. Ignorance can be fixed, you know, and it's not morally wrong, bad to not know stuff. We're all ignorant. Wants an ignorance? Well, hypocrisy? Nah, nah. I don't remember what age I was when I started working professionally. One of my parents worked partly from home. They owned their own business, servicing the medical field, pretty important offline services. And I got involved in that. I want to say I was probably 10? Maybe, I don't know, something like that. it's nice to have that basis of being able to value work. It's a good thing. Work, loss, lack, suffering, all very, very extremely valuable things to have experienced. If you get through them and you adult your way through the process of absorbing those experiences later on and understanding them and extracting lessons and improvement from them, man, there's just no substitute. You see people online who clearly have never experienced struggle of any sort. And it's just like, wow, you just don't get it. You really think that this is how life is, because it's how it's been for you always. Thoughts on the 501st Battle Pack? Looks pretty good to me. I like the bark speeder. I like the exact variety and lack thereof between the troops. I mean, it's not really a battle pack, obviously. Well, it is what it is. But I really like the bark speeder. I like the fact that they came out with the thing to give homage to that fan group that became canonized by Lucas, which is a really cool thing in and of itself, and it's just a huge worldwide phenomenon. And yeah, I think the set is pretty proper. I do wish the ATRT was smaller though. I feel like LEGO needs to really figure out how to make a more appropriately scaled ATRT and then just use that design for the rest of eternity. Iterate on it a little bit. I know they've done some relatively small ones in the past, but I feel like there's still opportunity for them to do a lot better. To do a small one that is nice. Respect for others. Who is this guy? Respect for others. Dad bod, of course. Sounds like a dad thing to say. Respect for others. You're so old. Okay, boomer. Respect for others. This guy. You don't need respect for others if you have followers. Duh. Feel that it's so close. Oh, thank you, Vince. How's the level? This is my first time since I got all the new streaming hardware. It's the first time I've actually run background music at all. It's one of my earlier playlists from when I first started experimenting. But yeah, let me know how the level is. And if it's too repetitive, because I only have probably half an hour worth of stuff, maybe a little bit more than that. And it is set to shuffle, so at least it doesn't go in a continuous loop. I want to get a little bit more in there, but I'm glad you do enjoy what's here. And by level, I mean volume, of course. Oh, so close, so close. Haha. Nice. A little quiet at the beginning. Yeah, I haven't. Okay. I haven't changed the volume throughout this, but the tracks just play at whatever volume they are recorded at, and there's no leveling or auto leveling through there. So it's just it is what it is. But hope you all are having a great night tonight. This next track is one of my favorites, a recent release. Alright. So, I'm behind the microphone now, so it's going to sound a little weird, but there's what I've done in this session. This connection here, some of the glare kind of messes with it, but filling that in, bringing that up to level, and then from back there all the way down to here, and then over here this little connector between here, that was filled in, and I think a little bit of this as well. So pretty much, yeah. All the way back to here. That. So yeah, what was that? 2.5 hours of actual work, something like that. It's not a lot to show for that amount of time, but I sure am glad to have that done, because that's been bugging me for the longest time. All that, it was so wrong. Now I do need to obviously continue, and the next highest priority segment is right there, where it's just track against brown. That should never happen, not in this world. So that'll be the next part, and then stuff out there I'm not worried about too much where it's against dark gray. I mean, all that needs to be built up anyway. But yeah, that'll be what's next. Otherwise, yeah, this worked. I want to say this worked out pretty well. A little bit of my light off to the side now. Thank you all for tuning in. I do believe that this was a successful first ever live stream for me in New Jang City, actually working on it, and everything was cool. Where are the tracks actually connected to the stuff underneath, or are they just resting on top? They are just resting on top. They are partially located by studs keeping them from moving side to side, but they're not actually attached. So when I pull these up, they'll kind of snap out a little bit, then I have to move around and find the spots where they slip back in. It's just where they slip between the studs down to tiles. They're not actually physically connected anywhere, except on some of the straights. So the straights in some places, and these don't count because they're diagonal, but the parallel perpendicular 90-degree tracks are able to be connected in some places, which is mostly just a matter of convenience. It's just easy to use studded pieces rather than having to tile absolutely everything. That's a lot easier than actually. But yeah, most of my track for all the time that you've seen me videoing stuff with trains has just been track just floating, because that's the best way to do it. Bump up against the table and it doesn't ruin absolutely everything. You know, stuff can shift a little bit. Earthquakes happen, you know, it works perfectly fine. The track kind of keeps itself together well enough. How many train curves make a circle? I always forget the answer to that. I want to say it's 16, either 16 or 12. I want to say it's 16. Yeah, I think it's 16 to make a circle. Thank you. Glad that glad y'all like the look of this. I'm pretty satisfied with the look of it. Man, it's a lot of work for all these turns and stuff, but I feel like it's worth it. Also, it requires a lot of commitment, because think about it. After doing all of this work, imagine if I had done all this ballasting, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago. All this has changed so much to make it more efficient use of space. Yeah, that would have sucked having to undo all that. Now I already did have to undo a bunch of stuff down in the yard, the freight yard. Fortunately, that's straight stuff. You know, I redid that a bit at one point. That's all straight stuff, so most of that is no sweat. But all the switches, they're the worst. And diagonals, yeah, it's one piece at a time, you know. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. And I'm just going to keep at it. So I will try to do this again in the future. Andy, I see you there right at the end. Oh, good. Appreciate you stopping by. Sorry I'm still not able to give you guys a lot of advanced warning and stuff. But yeah, we'll keep at it. And things are absolutely moving in such a positive direction. Exactly where I want things to go. I'm happy about that. About to hit 30,000 subscribers, it looks like, on the city channel. Numbers are looking good. People who visit this channel are happy with it. Don't have people who are looking for stuff that they're not seeing. You know, it's all just falling into place. Better. So, thank you all for joining. Do be aware though that future streams on this channel, I hope a fair number of them will be open to the public. But if stuff starts to get rowdy, too many kids come in and are just like spamming and stuff, constantly asking about Fortnite or whatnot. No disrespect to kids, but you know how. Yeah, I had been demonstrating that earlier. But you know how just good this chill atmosphere is, right? It's just good for the soul for all of us. So if I find that I need to cut it back to just Patreon, I will. But I should not have to turn off chat entirely like I did for the Pure Build channel. I think that was the right decision there, but I don't think I'll ever need to turn it off entirely for here. You know, worst case scenario. Oh God, oh no. It'll be chat for Patreon only. Then everybody can see it afterwards. So I am going to take off. Again, thank you, and I will catch you next time. It'll take me a minute to actually end this though, so now we should have a little bit of rumbling in the background as I think about where's that window. Yeah. Back in my days, you know, there would actually be a physical switch